Imagine the latest flagship smartphone. It's sleek, perfectly designed, with a massive, stunning display. It looks like it costs a fortune. But when you try to install a basic app, something like Conscience or Sincerity, the system crashes. File not found. That is exactly how a narcissist's psyche is wired. On the outside, there's a glossy image of success and confidence. On the inside, the core human functions are simply missing. Today, we're not here to talk about how bad they are. We're going to talk about facts. We'll cover 6 specific skills where any narcissist, absolutely every single one, is a total 0. You'll learn why it's useless to wait for their sympathy and why their apologies always feel like an insult. Ready for the truth that could save you years of your life? Then let's dive in. Before we get to the list, you need to understand one crucial thing. Narcissistic personality disorder isn't just about having high self-esteem. It is a deep developmental trauma. Imagine that in childhood, a person's emotional spine was broken and then healed completely wrong. To survive, that child created a false self, a grand, invulnerable mask. Every ounce of their mental energy goes into maintaining that mask. They simply have no resources left to develop the skills needed to truly connect with others. To a narcissist, other people aren't living beings with feelings. They are objects, functions, mirrors used to reflect their own image. When we demand humanity from them, we are essentially asking a toaster to compose a symphony. It's just not in their factory settings. So let's take it apart bolt by bolt and see exactly what's missing. The first and most fundamental breakdown in a narcissist's psychological makeup is their lack of emotional empathy. Notice I said emotional. This is a trap many people fall into. Narcissists often have excellent cognitive empathy. They understand what you're feeling on an intellectual level. They know that if someone is crying, they're sad. If they're shouting, they're angry. They read your emotions like data, like lines of code, and they use that information to manipulate you. But they are fundamentally incapable of compassion. It's like knowing the notes on a page, but never actually hearing the music. When you're suffering, a healthy person feels an echo of your pain. But for a narcissist, that connection has been severed. Your pain is either an annoying inconvenience or a tool for control. Let's take a look at how this actually plays out in real life, because it can be pretty confusing. Imagine you go to a narcissist with a problem. Maybe you're having a rough time at work or you've fallen ill. Naturally, you're looking for support. But instead of a kind word, you hit a brick wall of coldness or even irritation. Why is that? It's because your emotions are a demand on their energy, and they simply don't want to spend it on you. They might say things like, "It's your own fault," or "Stop complaining, I'm the one having a hard time here." This isn't just about being mean. It's a total inability to mirror your feelings or connect with what you're going through. To a narcissist, your tears are like the sound of a neighbor's power drill. It doesn't trigger empathy, it just makes them want the noise to stop. There's another facet of empathy where narcissists fall completely flat: the ability to truly be happy for others. You'd think celebrating a win would be easier than sharing someone's grief, but for them it's the opposite. To a narcissist, your success feels like a personal insult. If you achieve something, they feel as if something has been stolen from them. They see the world as a zero-sum game. If you win, they lose. So, instead of a genuine congratulations, you'll hear things like, "You just got lucky," or "Let's see how long that lasts." They are physically incapable of feeling sincere joy for a partner, a friend, or even their own child. In their world, envy simply consumes everything else. The second skill they're missing entirely is object constancy. It sounds like a complex psychological term, but it's actually quite simple. Imagine you've just had a major fight with someone you love. You're angry and hurt, but deep down you still know you love them. That love hasn't disappeared, it's just temporarily overshadowed by your anger. A narcissist doesn't experience this. To them, a person is either all good or all bad at any given moment. There is no middle ground and no shades of grey. For a narcissist, everything is strictly black and white. How does this actually play out in real life? In the heat of a conflict, a narcissist isn't just angry with you, they hate you. In their mind, you instantly flip from being the love of their life to their worst enemy. It's as if your entire history together has been wiped clean, like a formatted hard drive. This is why they can be so incredibly cruel during an argument. They say horrific things because, in that moment, your past doesn't exist. To them, you are a total stranger and a threat. Then, an hour later, once their mood shifts, they'll act as if nothing ever happened. And they will be genuinely confused as to why you're still upset. A lack of object constancy leads to a harsh reality. Out of sight, out of mind. If a narcissist isn't looking at you right now, you essentially cease to exist for them emotionally. They don't possess the kind of deep attachment that stays strong across a distance. This explains why it's so easy for them to cheat or break their promises the second you walk out the door. As long as you're providing them with supply, admiration, or convenience, you exist. But once you're off their radar, you're switched off, just like a light bulb. They lack the ability to hold the image of a loved one within themselves, and where that connection should be, there is only a gaping void. The third area where narcissists are a total failure is taking accountability. You'd think a grown adult would get it if I broke the cup. I'm the one who broke it. But in their world, it's gravity's fault, the floor is uneven, or it's somehow your fault for putting the cup too close to the edge. For a narcissist, admitting a mistake is like a death sentence. Their ego is so incredibly fragile that even the smallest crack, a simple "I was wrong," could bring the entire house of cards crashing down. You've probably seen this happen before. It's almost like a magic trick. You catch them red-handed, you have the screenshots, the facts, and the witnesses. A normal person would feel embarrassed and apologize, but a narcissist, they just rewrite reality on the fly. I never said that. You're taking it out of context, or you're the one who drove me to do it. This is gaslighting, but at its core, it's a total refusal to take responsibility for their actions. They will look you in the eye and deny the obvious until the bitter end, no matter how ridiculous they sound. Their mind is wired to protect them from shame at any cost. The way projection works in this context is actually quite fascinating, because a narcissist is incapable of containing or simply owning their own flaws. They project them onto you instead. If a narcissist calls you selfish, it's because they are feeling their own selfishness. If they accuse you of cheating, they are likely the ones with a guilty conscience. It's as if they take all their own trash and toss it right over the fence into your backyard. They do this so convincingly that you actually start second-guessing yourself, wondering, wait, am I the selfish one? But the answer is no. It's just that for a narcissist, the internal setting for my flaws are my responsibility simply doesn't exist. The fourth skill is the ability to offer a sincere apology. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, the narcissist in my life actually did apologize. But let's take a closer look at those apologies. A genuine apology requires three things: owning the action, I did this; acknowledging the harm, I know I hurt you; and a commitment to change, I won't do it again. For a narcissist, an apology is just a way to shut you up and get things back to the status quo. It's a transaction, a business deal, not an act of true remorse. A typical narcissistic apology sounds something like this: I'm sorry you feel that way, or "I'm sorry you took it so personally." See the difference? They aren't apologizing for what they did, they're apologizing for how you reacted. What they're really saying is, "I'm sorry you're so oversensitive." Or even worse, "I'm sorry, but if you hadn't started it." This isn't an apology, it's an accusation gift-wrapped as one. Narcissists lack the capacity for healthy guilt, the kind that actually leads to change. Instead, all they have is a deep, toxic shame that they keep buried inside. Try this experiment. The next time a narcissist says, "I'm sorry," ask them calmly, "What exactly are you apologizing for? What specifically did you do wrong?" Watch how they either freeze up or lash out. It's because they haven't actually thought about their actions. They're just saying the magic word to get you off their back and make you compliant again. To a narcissist, an apology is nothing more than a reset button. It's a way to restart the game, not a moment of growth. They are simply incapable of self-reflection. The fifth skill a narcissist simply doesn't possess is genuine intimacy and vulnerability. Most people mistake intensity for intimacy. In the beginning, a narcissist might shower you with attention or share tragic stories from their past, making you feel like you've reached a profound level of closeness. But that isn't vulnerability, it's recruitment. True vulnerability means showing someone your soft spots and trusting that they won't strike. A narcissist, however, only gives you a demo version, a carefully scripted performance. Why can't they be vulnerable? Because in their world, vulnerability is synonymous with weakness, and the weak get eaten alive. They live in a state of constant warfare, always wearing armor. If you try to have a heart-to-heart or share your fears, they'll likely weaponize that information against you later. And if you ask them to open up, they'll either dodge the subject or give you a rehearsed, socially acceptable script. The ability to be authentic, to exist without masks or defenses, has completely atrophied. They're terrified that if they drop the act, you'll see the emptiness inside and run. This is why, in a relationship with a narcissist, you will always feel alone. You might be lying in the same bed, but there is a wall of bulletproof glass between you. You bang on it, you scream, but not a single sound gets through. A narcissist doesn't know how to build an emotional bond, they only know how to create dependency. And those are two very different things. A real connection requires two equals. Dependency requires a master and a servant. To a narcissist, the idea of a partnership where both people matter equally is like advanced calculus. It is simply beyond their comprehension. And finally, the sixth skill where a narcissist completely fails is gratitude. Genuine, heartfelt gratitude. You'd think it would be simple to just say, "Thank you," and feel a sense of appreciation for someone's help. But for a narcissist, accepting help is an admission that they aren't all-powerful. It means they actually need someone, and that bruises their sense of grandiosity. Beyond that, they carry a deep-seated belief that they are owed by default. This is what we call entitlement, an inherent feeling that they are simply entitled to special treatment just for being who they are. When you do something nice for a narcissist, they simply take it for granted. They don't see your kindness as a gesture, they see it as their right. You made dinner? That's just your responsibility. You helped them out financially? Well, that's what partners are for. You gave them an expensive gift. They'll just think, "Finally, you've acknowledged my greatness." Narcissists don't feel the need to reciprocate. To them, gratitude feels like a debt, and they hate feeling like they owe anyone anything. This is why your kindness is often met with criticism instead of a thank you. By devaluing what you did, they make sure they never have to feel obligated to you. Think about how they act during the holidays. They often ruin celebrations simply because the spotlight isn't on them, or because they're forced to fake excitement for a gift that doesn't meet their standards. They lack the ability to appreciate the effort behind a gesture. All they care about is the utility. Is this useful to me right now? To a narcissist, people are just functions. Think about it. You don't thank your microwave for heating up your dinner, do you? That's just what it's built for. That is exactly how a narcissist views everyone around them. Let's add one more crucial piece to the puzzle: the ability to laugh at oneself. A narcissist will never, and I mean never, genuinely find themselves funny. They can be sarcastic, sharp, and even witty when the joke is at someone else's expense. No laughing at their own mistakes. Or an awkward moment. Not a chance. It's far too dangerous for their fragile, inflated ego. To them, any joke directed their way is seen as a personal attack. If you try some light-hearted teasing, be prepared for a flash of rage or a wall of icy silence. They do have a sense of humor, but it only flows in one direction: outward. The bottom line is bleak. These core traits, empathy, accountability, object constancy, the ability to apologize, vulnerability, and gratitude, are what define our humanity. They are the glue that holds relationships together. Trying to build a family or a friendship with someone who lacks these skills is like trying to build a house on a swamp without a foundation. You can keep pouring in your resources and patching up the cracks, but the structure will inevitably sink. A narcissist won't change because they simply don't see a problem. In their eyes, the problem is you for demanding the impossible. We just broke down the 6 fatal glitches in the narcissistic operating system. If you felt a chill down your spine or a sudden wave of recognition while watching, know that it's perfectly normal. This knowledge is your armor. Now you understand that their coldness isn't your fault, and their refusal to apologize isn't your failure. It's simply their nature. You can't teach a fish to climb a tree, and you can't teach a narcissist empathy. The real question isn't why they are the way they are. The question is, what will you do with this information? Are you going to keep knocking on a door that's permanently locked? I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 6 points hit you the hardest? Sharing your experience might be the one thing that helps someone else realize they aren't losing their mind. If this video was helpful, please give it a like. It helps the algorithm reach more people and might just save someone's mental well-being. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.